What's up, YouTube? What's up, Xtreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck. This is Xtreme Gainz. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Thursday, January 27th. This is the AMC Algo Exposed Daily Update video. Excuse me. I am going to add a little bit of spy in at the end. I got a lot to get through. I'm going to try to get through it all, and I'm about to let some cat out of the bag here real quick. So strap in, buckle up, whatever you got to do. Let's dig in. I'm going to go over two different macro fractal comparisons. One of which is going to be the snake algo, in which I have coined, found, and put together as DD. I've already put some information out on it. I'm about to really dive in a little bit more to it to show you some things and the new discovery from today. And this macro fractal comparison that you see in front of you now. AMC today, real quick, finished down minus 8.91%, trading at $14.52. It's currently up 1.1% in after hours at $14.68. All right. So on your left is the 7-year macro descending wedge. On your left is the 7-month macro descending wedge. We are currently in the 7-month macro descending wedge. This one was from December, I think, December 2013 to prior to the January 2021 run-up. You can see the resemblance. They have the exact same box top W or box top descending wedge fractal shapes. They have the exact same alternating fractal pattern. With these in here, the exact same count, the exact same order, the exact same levels, everything. So much so that when comparing this last portion or last fractal of the box top descending wedge to the current one, even though we have a 7-year and what I believe potentially is a complete exact replica of it compressed into 7 months, the descent from the top of the box top to the bottom of the first double are only 3% different. Not to mention, they're identical. So let me explain this to you. Let me give you some perspective. Had you known this, I did, a couple other people back then that I talked to. I've been doing this since about July, that I've really known what was like really going on with this thing when I finally put everything together after working on it what seemed like forever. You could have transposed this, and you can transpose this the whole way back into here. So you could have overlaid this back in, actually I take that back, yeah, clear back into here. So you could have done this mid-September and laid all of this on here and been able to project and know every single macro movement as a whole, right? Not all the nuanced little micro moves. I'm talking as a whole, a general perspective of the entire macro movement from mid-September, until now, today, and maybe even further. Literally, you would have been able to know every single movement. And I clipped a portion of it that I've been using because this is the portion of this fractal that we're in. And I want to show you how exact, and you can see it, but I just want you to know, you can go try that on your own. There's a little nuance difference in here compared to in here, and you can see it right here in this, whatever you want to call it, triple top, head and shoulders, excuse me. But it gives you the same general macro movement here. And it does it the whole way down. But check this out. Let's zoom in and look at this. If this were to continue, we'll look at the 4-hour real quick, and then we'll look at the 1 hour. But I want you to see how exact, even to the little nuance movements, like this here, in the transposed movement. It wasn't about to do that here. What did it do? Wick down, right? You have your tops, you have your drop, your consolidation, your drop, your consolidation, your drop. You have your down up, look, down up. You have the swoop around. Now you have the downside. And it's literally almost candle for candle. I'm going to move it. I need to stretch it, but I'm just going to move it real quick. Obviously, if I stretch it a little bit, that would be there for you, but just for to save me some time here. Almost candle for candle. So this here is indicating that if it continues to follow this, it's looking at a pretty heavy push to the downside. Starting tomorrow, starting Monday, I don't know exactly. Could it push up a little bit tomorrow? Sure. And then do it Monday? Sure, it could. You go into the 1 hour. You can see how you go in, you get a little flat movement, right, from not with the end of the day and now after hours. Again, let me just slide this over to compensate for that. Almost candle for candle. Now, as far as the bottom goes, right? Prior to having it here, I had it stretched a little more, and you can do that, and it still matches up perfectly. I can elongate it, and it still matches up perfectly. Excuse me, the bottom was indicating around 750 down here in the bottom of this descending wedge. And I wanted to kind of pull it in and really get it as close as I could get it to where I felt comfortable with it, and get it up as high as I could and still have it make sense, not only as far as from a fit perspective, but in the areas in which I don't have transposed, I still want them to be able to lay in here if I were to go transpose them and bring them back here, and they do. So with that being said, it then gave me this here as a bottom, and I went ahead and threw a line in here, and it's at like 9.25. I can pull this down a little bit actually. There we go. So about $9. So from like $7.50 to $9 would be the bottom if this pushes down and continues to follow this as precisely as it has since September. So this is one of the ones that I'm looking at for obvious reasons. Okay? And this is projecting downside like now, soon, now, soon, as far as I can tell. The second one that I want to talk about is the snake algo that I've coined. Now, a brief synopsis of the snake algo, real quick, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. The snake algo operates on the idea that micro leads macro. There will be a snake head that shows itself on the micro time frames at a certain time zone, certain time period. And it happens multiple times throughout this entire macro fractal. I've divided this into the time zones in which not only do the heads show themselves, but the heads then project. So what happens is, in a brief synopsis, is prior to a move into the next time zone where the next macro fractal will be, the head of the snake shows itself on a 5-minute time frame, and then it shows in a period of, and it changes, but depending on the size of the next fractal move, between 3 days, 5 days. I think the least I've found it's been 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, something along those lines. It shows you in micro movements, and then if you would have known it at the time, right, you can find it, then it projects the entire next macro fractal. Then what happens is, when you get to the next time zone and you're about to cross into it, the previous snake head disappears, right? That's the micro. The snake tail is the macro that follows the path that the micro shows you. Then the macro tail gets to the end of the time frame, which is now the macro, and it disappears, and a new head of the snake shows itself and shows you the next macro fractal. Then when you get to the new time zone, the head shows you, and that gives you your future projection, and then the tail is the macro that follows it up, and when it gets to the new time zone, a new micro head of the snake shows. Well, look where we're at today. A new head of the snake show. And I knew that, right? And in this theory, that's, in my opinion, way past theory at this point, I have been using the previous one that I pulled from the 5-minute chart from December 7th, what I have here to show you. It was a little bit prior to that. Maybe it was December 7th to December 17th. So this is a 10-day, 5-minute movement that I have transposed. That if you lay on here, again, would have shown you back in December, at the beginning of December, all of December's movements, all of January's movements now. Like I said over here, this one you would have known for all those months, at least a 2-month, right? I think I said it was more September, October, November, December, January. This one here was from September. Now this one is a piece together one, right? You have to piece it together as you get it on the 5-minute. However, like I said, it's only 5, 7, 10 days worth of micro movements, and then you know the whole next macro fractal. So this one here started on December 7th. It showed itself. We transposed it, and we had it continually adding to it as it gave us movement on the 5-minute chart till we were able to see that it brought us down here and it showed us this movement. Well, then obviously after a certain point we have enough that we're behind in the macro, and it gives you those projection powers again. This one here, all of 2 months you would have had prior to the 2 months worth of macro movements fulfilling it. So you would have had an empty, naked blue line sitting out here and no candles. And then these candles fulfill all this. And it's the craziest thing in the world to watch that happen over and over and over and over again. So anyways, with that said, what I explained to you all yesterday was and I just explained it now, when the micro head gets to the next time frame, it disappears, which then causes a diversion from the previous snake, which is what I believe happened here today. And knowing that we were crossing into the new time zone here today, I started looking for the new head. Also, when you get a new head, it always overlaps a little bit of the movement from the prior time zone to confirm itself. So I went on the hunt today, and it didn't take much hunting. Those of you that were in the live stream saw me find it in real time. And I found the new head of the snake. If I'm correct, and if this is correct, here's the new head of the snake with a little bit of overlap from the 5-minute chart today. Yep, that's good. So this is today's movement on the 5-minute chart, now overlapping from where the last one is and diverted. And here's the new projected macro movements from the new head of the snake. Now, before I move on, I want to go back to the other one here. Where did I put it? 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 Oh, right here. So this one here. This crowned off movement that we had here is replicating this, but in a compressed and suppressed version. I am still keeping my eyes on this to see if this continues, because for the first time, we have gotten to a place in this chart where there are time extensions at the end of this macro fractal. And it's the first time that I've had to deal with extensions at the end where they've been moved, basically. And that's a whole nother video and a whole nother DD. It's not even worth getting into. Just know that what's happening right now with these new time frames at the end of this fractal is the first time that that's happened. So I didn't know if the previous snake and snakehead and snake on the micro was going to show macro movement into the next macro fractal and time frame, since it's an extension. Okay, so being that I've noticed and I looked at it extensively today, it's replicating this entire movement but in a compressed and suppressed version. So I'm going to keep my eye on it. However, it's really looking diverted because of the suppression and compression. Okay, and so I don't know if it's going to fulfill and then start this ascending level that this one here displays. And we'll see tomorrow if that displays that. We have this one showing the move to the downside, and we're going to zoom in and I'm going to show you this. So I'm keeping my eyes on the old one, obviously, for the move to the upside and to start that ascending level in a W fashion. If not, now I have the macro to macro descending wedge with the internal or the interior last descending wedge fractal transposed here for you to see. That's following it precisely, and the new head of the snake that I've always found that has never let me down thus far. And again, I'm into it. It's a new thing that's happening right now, so I'm unsure, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there anyway. Screw it. But here you go. This is what it looks like up close. You can see the resemblance in the movements, and the similarities are identical. I mean, literally candle to candle almost. And here we sit. So this one here is indicating a potential initial move up, probably tomorrow, followed by a macro move to the downside. Back down to the macro descending wedge support. What does this one show? A move down to the descending wedge support. So this one is almost now confirming this one, and this one is almost now confirming this one. Normally, I've had two matching fractals, comparative fractals that have shown two different things at times. For the majority, they show the same, but there always comes a diversion point or a validation and invalidation point. And right now, I have the snake lining up with the macro to macro right now, the 7 year to 7 month. So anyways, that's what this is. Here is the snake. I wanted you all to see that. I'm not going to dive into the time zones and what they mean, all that. I've made a video on that a while back. Go look for that and check it out when I explain the snake algo, and I show the linear charts and how to backtrack it and things like that. I've gone way past that with the DD now and the deep dive into all this stuff. So I've given you the synopsis version of it so that you could see. I just want it to be, I want you all to have a visual representation of it and have an idea of what's going on without me spending 3 hours here talking about it, because I really could. But anyways, that's it. So I'm going to keep my eye on the previous snake, the previous head of the snake, because now the tail has moved its way through in the form of the macro, and it's ended at the new time frame, and here's the new one, and it overlapped perfectly. I mean, absolutely perfect. Exactly what I was expecting. I've talked about it with those who are involved and with me with this stuff, and literally it was just absolutely storybook perfect the way it showed itself again today. So if it continues to follow this, right, we're looking for this one here, more of an intraday micro movement tomorrow, or maybe even throughout the day. We get a little bump up right? Before moving to the downside, back down to the macro descending wedge. This one here shows that as well. A move down to the descending wedge, potentially even a breakthrough. I don't know if it's all going to happen at once, if it's going to hit and bounce like this is indicating, right? And then some consolidation on it. We'll have to wait and see. And as you see, this isn't, it's close to candle for candle, but it's not, nor does it have to, right? It's having a general perspective of the entire movement. But the point I really want to drive home with this is either one of these methods of mine, either one of these theories of mine, whether right or wrong, have been right for months and months and months. And more importantly, they give you in real time when found and transposed, they give you macro projections for months to come. And they have always been spot on, as I'm showing you. This showed months worth of macro movement prior to ever even having these candles here. Way back in here, it was showing all of this. And here we are, fulfilled almost 100%. This one head of the snake and snake showed just one head of the snake, and then the tail follow-up showed over 2 months worth of movement. All of December, all of January. Yeah, 2 months, sorry, 2 months worth of movement. And this is one head of the snake on the micro. So when found this in real time, it would have again done the exact same thing this did and gave you macro projection spot on for months out in front prior to any of this movement happening. I'm not sure if people quite don't understand what it is that I am showing here or what I have shown. I hope that this sheds some light on it a little bit more and it really puts some perspective as to what it really is that I'm spitting here. Because I'm not sure, I know most of you that follow me, that subscribe, that are in the live stream every day, that are in my Discord, y'all know what is going on here. And we know what's happening to my channel and everything right now. Y'all know I showed you everything. I appreciate all the continued support. This is why I'm putting this out regardless. So the top is coming off of everything and I'm letting it out one way or the other. So there you go. That is how I do the snake algo in a synopsis version. This is the macro comparative fractal that I've been looking at for months. It's projected months worth of movements. And that's what I'm looking at moving into tomorrow and obviously the future. When the rest of this shows itself, I will have it transposed and continue to update nightly as well on both of these. Continued like I have done and will continue to do. Real quick, because I ran over, I don't care. I'm glad that y'all are here. Thank you if you've watched it and made it this far. I appreciate the support. Please like and comment on the video for me. Here's the 4-hour spot. Oh, nope, that's one. Here's the 4-hour spot. Once again, we have projection powers. We have history repeating. The blue transpose is from 2007, 2008, and 2009, prior to the crash and the crash. I've been using this again, like the other ones, for months. Again, not candle for candle, but replicated movements with projection power for months and months and months. And it's following it in its entirety. This is the 4-hour. Just going to show you a portion. I want you to see the 1 hour. Sorry, my hand's not steady. Right there. Exact movements. Exact. Again, almost candle for candle. It's just nutty. This is all nutty. So anyway, it really is. I mean, you want some insight into the market? Here you go. Show this to your friends. Here's insight into the market. So we'll see what happens. This is SPY. It's in correction zone. It's in real-time correction zone. With the 0809, we got one dead cat bounce, right? We have the move up in here, back down in, then the dead cat bounce, and then off the cliff into no man's land. We'll see if that happens. Stay tuned. I'll be going over it every night as well. I know y'all will too. I saw it was on Reddit, and y'all are getting some of this information out there. I appreciate it. I appreciate the ongoing support from all y'all. And if this is one of the first videos you've ever watched of mine, I live stream right now for the time being, Monday through Friday, market open to market close. Come by, we chart and do all kinds of stuff in there. I have a whole nother trading method that I've created called the box top method and the box top schematics. It's lights out, and it will blow the lid off of your head if this hasn't already, which I don't know how this couldn't. But anyways, thank you. I'm going to let you all go. I appreciate y'all coming by and checking this out. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll be right here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Please like the video. Please comment on the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'll either see you tomorrow in the live stream, and I better, or I'll see you in the next update video. Have a good night. Enjoy yourselves. Later.